Hi, I'm Brandon Martini, a commercial pilot and flight instructor.
And I'm Carson Vasquez. I'm a private pilot.
And you're listening to the Pilot Mentor podcast, sponsored by Stratus Financial.
So buckle up, because the Aviation Mentors are taking off. Hey everybody, today we want to talk about our reasons why we fly.
First off, we want to do this episode on why we fly, which is also the title of another amazing podcast by my buddy Mike Harris.
Oh, that's awesome, Brandon. Yeah, I know Mike. He's got a great podcast over there. Really just hits on all the reasons why people fly. So speaking of that, Brandon, what got you interested in flying? What makes you fly today? Why do you keep doing it?
You know, it's a great story. At least I think it's great. Everyone else can decide for themselves, I guess, after this is over. But one day I was actually cleaning out my grandfather's stuff after he passed away. And I remember him telling stories as I was a little kid on how he used to fly around and learn to fly. Unfortunately, he never got his pilot's license or soloed, but he did have around 50 hours in his logbook, and he was doing more like mission trips for his church and flying with his friends to Havasu. And he was doing a lot of fun flying. And I remember hearing about the stories as a little kid. And my grandmother made him stop because she didn't want me going in the airplane with him. And look how that kind of turned out, huh? So yeah, I guess the passion kind of just ran deep. But I remember going through his stuff, and I found his old logbook in his pilot bag. And I found his headset.
No way.
I found his old books. I found his PHAC. or whatever the equivalent was. I can't remember because he was doing this in the 80s, 90s. And I found all sorts of stuff that reminded me of how I kind of was always interested in aviation, even in high school. I almost joined the military and I almost became a pilot, but I didn't really see a path to do that. So I didn't end up going the military route, but I do respect all of those who do serve, and thank you guys for serving, those of you out there. But
absolutely.
Yeah, 100%. But I didn't end up becoming a pilot right out of high school. And I thought the only way to do it was military, believe it or not. Even though I heard these stories from my grandfather, I heard these stories from other people. Luckily, I was able to find that logbook, and it kind of spurred an interest. And I went on Google and I searched for a flight school, and I found one. And I wasn't making very much money at the time, and I was working a job and had a new house and new baby, all sorts of things. And I was trying to make ends meet, and I wanted to do this really expensive thing called flying. And I didn't know how I was going to afford it. So I told everybody that I'm going to take a couple years to get it done, and I'll just go really slowly at it, which now in perspective, I realize how that doesn't really work in general. But I asked everybody for Christmas one year, my friends, my family. I said, if you're going to give me a gift card or you're going to get anything, please make sure it's something to do with aviation, something to do with flying. And by the way, here's the flight school that I'm planning on going to in January. So I gave everyone the name of that school, and whoever ended up giving me a gift for Christmas, I said, I ended up getting almost all gifts just for flying. So I went there with my like $1,500 worth of gift cards and gift certificates. And I went in there and I went on a shopping spree. I told them, what do I need? Give me their bag, give me my E6B, give me some charts. I'll take everything you need. Just tell me what you need and I'm going to buy it. So I walked out of there spending $600 and still not taking a flight lesson yet. In retrospect, that was
just before the flying.
That was probably not the smartest idea either. You don't really need that much stuff on day one. Typically, I mean, unless you're going to a collegiate program or you're going to,
that was day zero.
Or if you're going to a zero to hero program, those are the things you're going to need. But that's not what I was doing originally. So I went a little overboard for me just wanting to become a private pilot at the time, right? So I ended up setting up a few lessons, and I took my first lesson, and I was absolutely hooked. I loved it. I loved flying. I was nervous, just like we talked about in episode 2. I was scared about a bunch of different things, but I enjoyed it. So that was kind of how I got started, and I've kept on going in this because I have a passion for aviation, just a passion for flying. Every time I go up in the air, it's something new. It's never the same boring, dull day. Your office in a cockpit is much better than sitting in the office with 4 walls surrounding you and 2 or 3 computer screens. And so I love being outside and doing that. So that's kind of the reason why I fly. It was because of my grandfather originally, and after he passed away, and now I keep on doing it because I just love the sights and sounds and atmosphere and the people you meet that's probably a big one too. I mean, I go to Oshkosh every year, and Carson, you went with me this year. I don't go there for the airplanes anymore. I go there
That was
for the
awesome.
people. And I never thought I would say that. I thought I just liked aviation for the airplanes, but no, it's definitely the people. Just like we talked about Mike earlier. We spent a lot of time with him. We spent a lot of time with the guys at Cessna and Piper, and of course the Icon guys, because I'm the Icon A5 guy, and it was just a blast. So you go there, and you go there for the people now, and that's what keeps me interested in aviation. I know your pilot journey started a lot more recently than mine, so it might be a little different for you. But tell me a little bit about how you got started flying, and what's your why for flying?
Yeah, well, I have a pretty cool story. I started in high school actually, and it wasn't even me just doing it myself. Very lucky. I'm one of those lucky people that found flying at a much younger age. And I found a buddy, I think it was junior year. He was in my math class. His name is Matt. And he, over the course of getting to know him, I found out that his parents had an airplane and he had just gotten his license. He was super excited about it. And he'd been flying for years. So I asked if I can go up with him because I was so excited about it when he showed me all the pictures and how cool it looked. And so that ended up being my first flight. I said, yeah, my mom's okay with it. If you ask your mom, and she's okay with it. And so we started flying, and we ended up flying, every other week. We'd go down to French Valley, go get $100 hamburger, and come back.
Might have been a little more than
Yeah, no,
$100. Huh?
I didn't know that it was that expensive until I started doing it myself, and I found out it was more like a $200 or $300
Really
hamburger.
Is the best tasting hamburger you ever
especially
had,
when
though,
you work for it like that. Makes it so much better.
100%.
And so we ended up flying all the time, and senior year came and went. Then I ended up going to college up here at Brigham Young University in Utah, and I didn't get to fly. I didn't have an airplane. I didn't have buddies that flew up here. It was just me and Matt that had flown, and I realized how much I'd missed it, and how much of a good time I had flying with him, how much I wanted to do it again. So when I ended up coming back home because college got shut down for COVID, I found a great flight school, started flying there, and ended up getting my license. Through that all the different kinds of training that I did during my flight training, everything from morning flights to afternoon and night flights, I really just discovered how much I loved views. Everything just looks so pretty. You take an absolutely normal looking city, all these just normal looking buildings, and you fly over them at night, and it's just the whole sea of stars, and it's the most beautiful thing. It's all nice and calm and quiet. So especially after a long day of work, I love to just go up and just kind of focus on only flying and only how beautiful it is. And again, the people too are just amazing. You fly into any airport, no matter how far away from home you are, and you instantly have a community and connection with everybody. And getting to fly with people.
That right there, that's the real ticket right there. I mean, going into little tiny towns in the middle of what people consider flyover states, those are my favorite places to go stop at because the people are so cool. I mean, just way out of the way. I mean, where else can you go? At least we're from Southern California, so you can't really go and do this story anywhere else or outside of in California, rather. It's just not going to happen. But I was in some little city in Kansas, and I walk in to a little building with no lock on it, and there were car keys sitting on the table with a sign that said, "Please bring it back when you're done." And I would just walk into the back. I grabbed the car and I took it to town for an hour. I brought it back. I put in a little bit of gas because I use a little bit of gas, and I dropped it back off at the FBO that had no one there, that was fully unlocked. And those are the things that make aviation cool. And then you meet people around the airports and stuff.
It's just so crazy. And getting to gather all those experiences, it really just is what makes it so awesome. Because you're really just gathering memories and experiences. And my 3 years of flying already, which I know isn't that many, but I think I've already gathered quite a few. I made a lot of friends, and I've just seen some amazing and beautiful things. So I'm grateful to be in Southern California, get to fly over the ocean all the time. And seeing that from the sky is just a whole nother thing. And that's why I keep flying. There's so much to it and so much that I don't want to miss out on.
That's way cool. So I think we're going to call it a day today. We're going to make a short episode.
Yeah.
And we want to thank everybody who listened today for listening. And we hope you had as much fun listening as we did telling our stories and how much we love flying. And please let us know. Shoot us an email or a message on Instagram or Twitter or anything like that. and we want to hear your why and what's your why for your aviation journey. And please reach out to us. We'd love to hear the stories and make more connections throughout this industry. So thank you so much.
And if you'd like to reach out to either one of us, you can reach us on Twitter or Instagram at Mr. Martini Guy for Brandon, or you can reach me at Carson_AV17.
As we wrap up the day, remember, we're here to guide you on your aviation journey. Fly safe and enjoy the ride.